huge win this past weekend for Rajah Caruth, while his Spire teammates Carson Hocevar and Corey LaJoie already have beef, and another week means another edition of my power rankings. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Halfway through this abbreviated West Coast swing, one race down, one race to go. Before we focus on Phoenix Raceway later this week, there are some loose ends to tie up from Las Vegas. If you missed my Cup Series race recap and analysis, you can click right here to check it out. One notable story I failed to cover last night, though, was the apparent beef between Spire Motorsports teammates. Reporter Jonathan Feld from the Racing Experts posted a short clip of Corey LaJoie when he got out of his car after 400 miles. LaJoie spun out and crashed late in Sunday's race, but was running top 10, even top 5 in the earlier stages. After the race, LaJoie said it was the best day at the track they've ever had, but expressed clear frustration with his young rookie teammate Carson Hocevar. He said Hocevar plugged him into the fence, and when asked what their future conversation would be like, Corey LaJoie gravely said, "We'll see." Very spooky, very ominous. I have not been able to find the exact incident Corey LaJoie is referring to, but man, this ruins the good vibes I was talking about yesterday. Corey LaJoie running inside the top 10, racing with the leaders. Carson Hocevar getting a flat tire under green, only to race his way back into contention. Fantastic speed shown by Spire yesterday, but now we've got internal conflict. We know Carson Hocevar has pushed some buttons, stepped on some toes over the years. I hope this isn't something bigger brewing internally. It's probably not. This is something I'm sure that can be settled over a meeting or two, but it's something to keep an eye on. I was so high on Spire Motorsports last night after the race, but after seeing this clip of Corey LaJoie, the frustration on his face, now I'm a little concerned. The good vibes are gone. Let's back things up now to the start of the weekend. Friday night, Rajah Caruth became only the third black driver in NASCAR history to win a top 3 National Series race. And the victory couldn't have come at a better time. He wins just days after HendrickCars.com agreed to sponsor him for the full season. Rajah continues Spire's winning streak. Nick Sanchez at Daytona in a Spire-prepared truck. Kyle Busch at Atlanta. Rajah at Vegas. Spire trucks have swept the first 3 Truck Series races this season. It was a very impressive win Friday night, considering Cup regulars like Christopher Bell and the aforementioned Kyle Busch were in the field. Rajah won the pole, raced up inside the top 5, top 10, didn't panic when he fell behind, got on and off pit road fantastic during the final green flag sequence, secured the victory. I called it a couple weeks back. I said Rajah Caruth should make the playoffs this season. That's the expectation. I'll be honest, I didn't expect him to win a race this soon, this early in the year, but I knew he'd be good. I knew the Spire trucks would be good, and we saw Rajah Caruth last year with GMS. He looked a little overmatched at the start of the season, but by the midway point towards the end of the year, he was finishing inside the top 15, the top 10, routinely. He steadily improved throughout the year. He's picked up right where he left off in 2024. Congratulations to Rajah Caruth. It really is an incredible story. I've known Rajah a little bit now for a few years, and what's always stood out to me is that he's not afraid to ask questions. He's not afraid to admit when he doesn't know something. This kid is from Washington, D.C. He didn't have the connections or the resources to go race when he was 5, 6, 12 years old. His first exposure to NASCAR was the Pixar movie Cars. Rajah Caruth was an iRacer. He networked, built some connections, didn't get behind the wheel of a real race car until 2019. He was like 16, 17 years old at that point, which is really old, practically ancient by modern NASCAR standards. He got the attention of the Drive for Diversity program, went on to win multiple late model races, made his full-time Truck Series debut last year, but now in year 2, he is already a NASCAR Truck Series winner. It is inspiring. It's relatable. I know I can relate in many ways to Rajah Caruth. I'm sure many other fans can as well. Like, I didn't grow up in a racing family either. I didn't grow up in the heart of NASCAR country either. But if you have the talent, if you make the right connections, there are different paths you can take to realizing your NASCAR dreams. It's no secret that most professional race car drivers grew up privileged, had family connections to the industry, had family funding to back them in their early years, get started at an early age, make those industry connections at an early age. That's how it usually works. So to see Rajah Caruth, who had none of those connections, get to where he is in such a short period of time, I know he's had the support of Drive for Diversity. Bubba Wallace has served as a great mentor. He's absolutely had help, but my point is just about every other professional race car driver in NASCAR has also had a ton of help. They just got here a slightly different way. Everyone needs help to get to the top of stock car racing, but what's inspiring about Rajah Caruth is that he didn't get here this way. He didn't race late models at age 12. He wasn't racing, dirt sprint cars on the West Coast. He carved his own path, still had plenty of help along the way, but did it differently. And I think that's inspiring. It shows any aspiring young race car driver that there are many different paths you can potentially take to get to the pinnacle of the sport. And obviously Rajah is not at the pinnacle yet. He's not in the Cup Series. He's not a championship contender yet. But winning a truck race this early in his career at Las Vegas Motor Speedway with Cup guys in the field is extremely impressive. I like this quote from Rajah after the race. He said, "I just listened to people that wanted to help me. I put in the work, late nights, early mornings, showing up. I caught some breaks, for sure. I tell those kids, because I know there's a lot out there that are in similar spots than me. Y'all can do it." Congratulations to Rajah Caruth, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series winner. I told y'all he'd be a playoff contender. Now let's see if he can evolve into a true championship contender. Now it's time for one of my favorite new weekly segments. Every week I rank the 10 fastest overall drivers and teams right now in the NASCAR Cup Series in what I call the Out of the Groove Power Rankings. I hate to do this, but there are a couple of Joe Gibbs Racing drivers that didn't quite crack my top 10. Like Martin Truex Jr., he did well in the stages at Daytona and Atlanta, but Las Vegas this weekend, 7th place, was his first top 10 of the season. And Christopher Bell, I hate to drop him out of the top 10 because I still believe he is a legitimate championship contender, but I'm tired of making excuses. Failed to qualify for the Clash? Well, that's because the weather qualifying was kind of weird. Finished 34th at Atlanta? Well, that's because he got caught up in an early crash. Not his fault. 33rd at Las Vegas? Oh, well, he ran over debris, according to his crew chief. Well, then what was the reason he spun out all by himself? So many incidents. They're obviously not all his fault, but it's too many to ignore at this point. I fully expect Bell to be back in my top 10 for long, but for now, he's an honorable mention. Let's start with my true number 10. Bubba Wallace has absolutely earned a spot in the top 10. He's one of only 2 drivers in the Cup Series this year with 2 top 5s on the season. And who knows where he would have finished at Las Vegas. They had that issue on pit road, couldn't get the wheel nut off, had to cut that thing off surgical style. Ruined their day, obviously, but that's not on Bubba Wallace, and that didn't take away from the car's speed. So Bubba's still in the top 10 for now. At number 9, gotta go Daniel Suarez. Shoot, he is a race winner this year. Led a few laps at Las Vegas, played some pit strategy, sure, but still finished 11th, a solid day. I like what I'm seeing from Trackhouse so far. A good, solid start to the season. Dropping a few spots to number 8 is Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch had a top 5 car at Las Vegas, I'm convinced, but for the 3rd week in a row, major pit road issues plagued this team. 4 major mistakes in 3 weeks. That's unacceptable. And some of it's on the driver. Kyle Busch sped at Atlanta, and yesterday at Las Vegas, he slid through the pit box. But some of it's also on the pit crew. They had issues at Daytona, which led to the Jackman getting replaced. And even yesterday, yes, Kyle Busch slid through the box slightly, but the front tire changer or someone should have seen that his splitter was on the line, and they should have told him to back up. That's like the first rule of pit stops, is make sure the splitter is behind the line. The speed is there, but the mistakes on pit road are killing me. Kyle Busch falls to number 8. Moving back into my top 10 this week is Ross Chastain. What did I say about Trackhouse? Off to a good start. Back-to-back top 10 finishes for Ross Chastain, and go back to Daytona, he was battling for the lead late. He's been in contention really all 3 weeks. Like Kyle Busch though, Chastain needs to ease up on the pit road mistakes. I believe that's 2 weeks in a row he's been caught speeding. Could have ruined his Las Vegas race entirely, but they gambled on 2 tires, and Ross Chastain drove his guts out those final laps to hold on to a top 5 finish. At number 6 goes Joey Logano. 3 straight front row qualifying efforts. I know the Atlanta one was disallowed, but by winning the pole at Las Vegas, I think Joey Logano proved that webbed glove, that wasn't the difference maker. They're just fast on Saturday. I liked but didn't love Logano's speed at Las Vegas. He finished 9th, but you look at how he's run these first 3 weeks. He was in contention late at Daytona, got caught up in a wreck. He was in contention late at Atlanta when he caused the wreck. A solid top 10 effort at Las Vegas. Important points. I like Joey Logano in the 6th spot. I'll keep Denny Hamlin in my top 5 just barely. He did win the season opening clash. I haven't forgotten that. But Hamlin finally scored his first top 10 of the year at Las Vegas this past weekend. Now, Hamlin has led 10 or more laps in every points-paying race so far this year, so he's been in contention every week. Nice to see him finally get a decent result. I've got Denny Hamlin 5th. You can't forget that the past 2 years, he has been the first guy out of the championship 4, so I think 5th place suits Denny pretty well. At number 4, I knew I was right to keep Tyler Reddick up here in the mix. Daytona, Atlanta, caught up in crashes, terrible results. We get away from the drafting tracks, and immediately, Tyler Reddick looks like a superstar. Finished 2nd in both stages, 2nd in the race. He and Kyle Larson were toe-to-toe throughout. Whoever had the clean air at the end was going to win that race. Reddick is likely going to do big things this year. I think Las Vegas was just a taste. My top 3 might be controversial. I'm giving Kyle Larson the bronze medal. First non-super speedway race of the year, and Kyle Larson looked like his 2021 dominant self. The field should take notice. Max points swept the stages. Prime Kyle Larson with Hendrick Motorsports is a scary combination. But I've got Ryan Blaney at number 2 because as great as Kyle Larson was on Sunday, I can't discount Daytona and Atlanta. Blaney led laps at Daytona, finished 2nd at Atlanta by this much, 3rd at Las Vegas. I'm not sure he was on the same straightaway as Kyle Larson at the end, but a 3rd place finish is not to be scoffed at. He's the defending series champion, and now we head to Phoenix Raceway, where Blaney finished 2nd in both races last year. So that's why I have Ryan Blaney at 2, and holding on to that number 1 spot just barely. Man, these 3, it was close. I've still got William Byron. Daytona 500 champion, had a great all-around 2023 with 6 wins, made it to the championship 4, and I think he was nearly as fast, if not as fast, as his teammate Kyle Larson yesterday. Due to the debris on the grill, a variety of circumstances, he just never really had the track position to show us what he had, but I think William Byron was a top 3 car this weekend, so while Larson may have all the glory right now winning at Las Vegas, I don't think William Byron is far behind. The next few intermediate races we go to, I expect Willie B to be in contention. So there you go, my out of the groove power rankings top 10 after Las Vegas. I told y'all, once we get away from the drafting tracks, this leaderboard is going to shuffle up, begin to take its more true form, I believe. A lot of drivers knocking on the door of that 8th, 9th, 10th spot, really tight. Let me know if you agree or disagree with where I placed your favorite driver. Let me know down in the comment section below. That is going to do it for this episode, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We talk NASCAR day in, day out here on Out of the Groove, and a huge thank you to my very generous Patreon supporters. If you're coming to Phoenix Raceway this weekend, be sure to stop by the NASCAR Experience Stage Friday at 3 p.m. and Saturday at 12:30 before the Xfinity Series race. I will be doing a live show with Xfinity Series driver Brennan Poole. We'll be recording some live editions of our podcast Power Hour. Hope you're able to stop by. There'll be some opportunities to say hi, meet up before and after each live show. So I'm excited to be there this weekend. Hope to see a bunch of y'all out in the desert. That's why I'm wearing this shirt, you know, gotta get in the mood, all right? Thanks for watching, folks. I will catch you again real soon.